What's up, Spencer with the Sports Guy? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be doing the best bets and predictions for the Week 2 NFL games. Week 1 was not good for us. I've seen some upsets that I was not expecting. The offense takes time to just click, I understand. But let's dive straight into Week 2. Let's start with the Browns, who are visiting the Jaguars. Line opened at -3 and went all the way to -4 and started going all around between -3 and -4. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the Deshaun Watson situation. Now, I'm not an expert in quarterback play. I'm not an owner. I'm not a GM. I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I'm not an ex-player. I'm not an agent. I can't talk about the money. I can't talk about the quarterback play. However, I do see that you can apply something called game theory to this, where let's just talk in poker terms for people to understand what game theory is. So, if, for example, Deshaun Watson is aces or kings that you were dealt pre-flop, it was a very good hand. It has potential. You've seen it in the past. The numbers are good. You bet big pre-flop because you're supposed to do that, and that's the guaranteed contract. But at the same time, as the streaks go on, when you hit the flop and then the turn, sometimes it loses the value. So you're supposed to go with expected value and not just, oh, I have aces, I'm just gonna go all in. So the Browns need to figure out when is it the best for them to just get away and then void the contract if they can, of course, or you have James Winston there. But at the same time, you're gonna have to take into account at some point the locker room. Are you gonna lose them? How can you just manage this whole situation without upsetting all the parts? How are you gonna upset the fans? You're gonna have to decide whether you care about the season as well or you just care about the guaranteed money, because the guaranteed money is lost. That's just gone. Unless you can void the contract, it's gone. So you're gonna have to focus, do you wanna lose the money and the season, or you're gonna have to put the best quarterback suitable to get you to the playoffs, of course, and go as far as you can. On the other hand, Jacksonville is coming from a very tough beat. They should not have lost that game to Miami, and I understand that Miami was very adrenaline and very, oh, Tyreek Hill, let's just go there and win. But when you're leading as much as you're leading, and you just go for it on 4th down instead of punting, you could have won the game like that. Talking of Miami, I want to say, all prayers to Tua, let's hope he comes back healthy. I want to criticize here the media of how they handle the situation, because I don't think that it's moral. I think you're just looking for clicks if you're talking about, oh, is he going to retire? Oh, about the money. I mean, let's just pray for the guy and let the doctors do what they do. Let's Tua rest, and then he's going to decide. He's the only one who can decide, other than the doctors. Just get back to our game. David Njoku is out for the Sunday game, and I'm going to give you some nuggets here and there. So the total has gone under in 4 of Jacksonville's last 5 games. Cleveland also have lost 4 out of 5 games against the spread versus the Jaguars. And I think that says big time about the Jaguars. I picked the Jaguars at -3. I think -3 is a bit low. I've seen enough from the Jaguars. I've seen enough from Cleveland. I picked the Jaguars at -3. But let's just talk about the second game. Another team that disappointed is the Panthers. In Week 1, they were terrible. They're hosting the Chargers. The line is at -4.5, opened at -4.5, and is now at -5. Total points is at 38.5. And let's just address the situation again, just like with the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk about Bryce Young. I don't think he's the only problem. If you put him in a very good team, he might be able to do the job. Like, Carolina are pretty terrible. The ownership is abysmal. It's 1 year, 2 years, and you're gone. You can't just build in 1 or 2 years. You just can't. The Giants have been trying to do it in 10 years. And let's just give some few stats. I mean, they won 1 game in the last 11 games they played. It's not that good. And then the stat that's mind-blowing, they only have 10 seconds in the lead in the last 9 games. On the other hand, we have the Chargers. We have Herbert. I think Herbert is a top-tier quarterback. Jadeveon Clowney is questionable for the game. And I'm going to give you the nuggets again. Total has gone under in 9 of Carolina's last 12 games. The total has also gone under in 6 of the 7 games of LA Chargers on the road. I'm still going to pick the Chargers. I've seen enough from the Chargers. I've seen enough from the Panthers. Panthers are terrible. I pick the Chargers to win. Moving on to the third game, where my New York Giants, my terrible New York Giants, are playing at Washington against the Commanders. The line opened at -3 and is now at -1.5 for Washington. I mean, what? Even the sports books are not sure about this game. And I know why, because I am a Giants fan, and I've seen Daniel Jones do it again and again against Washington. I mean, the stat is that Daniel Jones has won 5 out of the last 7 games versus the Commanders in his life. And it's 5-1-1. It's not even, he lost once. He knows how to do it against them. But at the same time, the Giants are the Giants. We've seen them. The O-line is terrible as usual. They did lose Saquon, which is just mind-blowing for me. The Giants are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games. Washington are, however, 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games. Darius Slayton is questionable for the game. I trust Daniel Jones against the Commanders. I don't trust him against anyone, but against the Commanders, I do trust him. I think New York is not only going to cover, they're going to win. For the third game, it's some big boy football with some big teams, as the 49ers are traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. 49ers are 5 points favorite. The Total, I believe, is at 46.5. I'm gonna have to talk about 49ers and how good they looked against the Jets. Offensively, defensively, Purdy is doing some good job. He's just the guy for the job. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and that's just great. I've seen people praise him. I've seen people criticize him. It's working for them. They just plug someone at running back. They plug someone at quarterback, and Kyle Shanahan makes it work. It's a system. I like how they're doing it. We're gonna have to talk about last season when the Vikings won the game at home 22-17 against San Francisco, where the 49ers was 7 points favorite. Let's not forget about that. And that's what's making me shaky about the 5 points favorite line. The stats that are very, very shocking, honestly, are that San Francisco are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. 1-4. The total has gone over in 4 out of San Francisco's last 5 games, same as Minnesota. CMC is questionable. I see that stat of 4 out of 5, and they're 1-4 against the spread for San Francisco, and I'm tempted to take the total on over. I'm taking San Francisco, but the money line. I'm not taking the points. San Francisco straight up. That's gonna be my pick. Let's continue with some teams who won their Week 1 game. Seattle Seahawks are going to New England to play the Patriots. Seahawks are 3.5 points favorite. Total is at 38.5. Let's just talk about New England. I mean, man, did I question them, and I was very jubilant. Let me dare say that they don't have any plan for this year. It's just a rebuild year, and they're gonna win 1 game or not win any game, and then they come in Week 1 and they stun the Bengals. Bengals were pretty terrible defensively, but it's that toughness that New England just has. I don't know, maybe New England can be like the dark horse this year, I don't know. But I see the key here is for Seattle to just stop the run. New England are 4-1-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. Seattle are 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games. It's tough to pick, honestly, because I don't know if New England's going to be the same. Seattle had a week to prepare, they've seen the film. I think Seattle minus 3.5 should be the pick, honestly. Again, with teams that won Week 1, Detroit Lions didn't dominate, but they are hosting the Buccaneers. They're 7.5 points favorite, which is mind-blowing for me. Total is at 51.5. I mean, let's just talk about Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield. Jared Goff is one of my favorite all-time quarterbacks. First season with the Lions, he's shown some potential. Second season, boom, there he was. And now he's again, everyone's picking them to be the favorites for the Super Bowl. Bucs, however, are missing key players. Let's talk about the numbers. Tampa Bay are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games. Detroit are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games. Both seem to be covering a lot. 7.5 points is a lot. I don't know. I didn't see the Lions just destroy the Rams. I mean, the Rams could have won that game easily, and they very banged up the Rams. I can't just expect Detroit to just manhandle the Buccaneers. They're very tough. And that's going to be my pick. I think I'm picking Bucs plus 7.5. And now it's time to talk about some big matchup. Bengals at the Chiefs. 5.5 points for Patrick Mahomes. Total is at 48. I've seen the Bengals play. They're not very good. That Burrow is 3-1 against Mahomes. They need to step up defensively. Cincinnati are 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games against Kansas City. Kansas City are, however, 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games. I don't know if I can take the Chiefs to beat them by more than 6 points. I'm taking Cincinnati to cover. Let's stay in the division of the Chiefs and talk about the Broncos, who are hosting the Steelers. Steelers are still missing Russell Wilson, but they're 2.5 points favorite. In spite of that, total points is at 36.5. It's pretty low, so it might be tempting. Steelers, however, do seem to be winning without touchdowns. They seem to be doing alright with Boswell. Might be good for the total. Take the under. Denver did allow the 3rd most rushing yards in football last year, 146 in Week 1. Hey, Steelers have Najee Harris. He's very good. He's a fighting back. I think that's a bad matchup for the Broncos. Pittsburgh are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Denver are 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games. I don't know what to say. I'm picking the Steelers to win by 2.5 points. Going back to the NFC, and especially to the NFC East, we have the Eagles hosting the Falcons. Eagles are 6.5 points favorite. Total is at 47. And let's talk about them. They did beat the Packers, I understand, but they didn't look as dominant. They were not that good. Let's just talk about it. Apart from Saquon and AJ Brown, who were very good, the defense looked shaky. Center and Jalen looked shaky. On the other side, Kirk is still recovering, and you can see it in his game. He could have won the game, but I don't know if he has that boom, 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 where he can just go. However, all of that said, I don't know if I can take the points for the Philadelphia Eagles, honestly. 6.5 points seem a bit big for me, especially how they're doing against the spread. Both of them. Atlanta are 1-5 in the last 6 games. Eagles are 1-7 in the last 8 games. I don't know if I can trust them with the points. I'm going to take the total points, honestly. 47 seem a bit doable. I'm picking the over, and I'm just hoping that the defenses are very terrible and Saquon is doing his job again and Bijan Robinson is also doing his job. I picked the over. But now let's talk about my surefire picks, my bankable bets that you should just put money on them. I have 3 for you, starting with the Raiders at Baltimore. Opened at -8.5, it's now at -9 in favor of the Ravens. Total points at 41.5. You can't bet against the Ravens, especially after a loss. Because after a loss, and especially with Lamar and Henry, I think that they're gonna use Henry. I don't know why they didn't use him that much. Basically, didn't use him at all. But Baltimore are 4-1 against the spread after a loss and haven't started 0-2 since 2015. However, Las Vegas are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games. Baltimore at 11-4 straight up in their last 15 games. But Baltimore are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games when playing at home against Vegas. So as my first surefire pick, I'm gonna have to put the Baltimore Ravens covering the 9 points. I have no doubt that they're gonna do that. They need to show the world that they are who they are, and I don't see the Raiders stopping them, honestly. Let's talk about a second game where I have the best bet. The Jets go into Tennessee to play the Titans. Jets are 3.5 points favorite. The total points set at 41. Let's just talk about Aaron Rodgers. He's not the MVP Aaron Rodgers. He's not the primetime Aaron Rodgers that we know, but he still has the talent. I mean, he did rush the interception. The interception was 100% his fault, in my opinion. He did rush the ball. He tried compensating sometimes. He did have a great drive, but the defense couldn't get any stops. Titans defense did look good, but the offense was terrible at some point. Jamal Adams is questionable for the game. Without a doubt for me, the Jets are covering the 3.5 points. They're going to beat the Titans, and Aaron Rodgers is going to show the world that he's not yet done. Now for my surefire pick number 3, I'm going to the Bears against the Titans at Energy Stadium. Texans are 6.5 points favorite. Total is at 45.5. Texans look good. Hey, Stroud was very clutch in that game. The Colts were very good, but Texans were a bit above, and Bears and Caleb are still figuring it out. I said that they are going to need, I believe in Caleb Williams, but I believe that he's going to need 1 more year to develop into the guy he's going to be. Chicago are 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 games. That's, I don't know if I can pick the Texans based on that stat. The defense looked very good. Houston are 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games. Texans are playing at home. 6.5 is a bit much for me, but I'm picking Texans money line. That's a surefire pick. Just take it to the bank and run away with it. Moving on to the games that you should stay away from the most, and I'm going to the Colts at Packers. Packers are playing at home. Colts were very good, but Packers did lose Jordan Love. Line opened at -3, but now is at -2.5 in favor of the Colts. I'm gonna count on a concept where when your star player does get injured, we saw that with the Eagles when Wentz went out. The team galvanizes and rallies against everyone, and they just want to prove that, oh, we're gonna do it for him. Also, the Colts defense, rush defense, did not look good. 159 yards against Mixon, and I don't need to tell you that the Packers do have Josh Jacobs. I don't know, Josh Jacobs is probable, but I can see him just running around with the game. Packers holding out on defense, locking it down. I don't see it, like, -2.5 is not a very good line for the Colts for me. DeForest Buckner is questionable for the game. The total has gone over in 6 of Indianapolis' last 8 games and 8 of Green Bay's last 10 games. I see the defenses both locking it down, and that's why this game is stay away from as much as you can, in my opinion. Second game for me to stay away from as much as you can is the Saints, who destroyed the Panthers, who are going to Jerrysburg to play the Cowboys. Cowboys are 6 points favorite, and we saw why. I mean, we saw how they did to Cleveland. I mean, them boys really be cooking. I am a Giants fan. I have praised the Eagles. I have praised the Cowboys, but hey, if they're good, they're good. And I don't know if I know whether the Saints are very good or not, because it's the Panthers. You don't know if I respect Derek Carr. I respect the defense, but they are getting very old. Dallas is 16-1 straight up in their last 17 games at home. I mean, they don't lose at Jerry's World. It's not whether they're going to lose or not, because Lattimore and Matthew are questionable for the game for the Saints. It's just a 6 points for me, and I believe that Dallas is going to win, but you should stay away from this game because it can go either way. My third and last game that you should stay away from is the Rams going to the Cardinals, and Cardinals are 1 point favorite. It's a divisional game. The line is very peculiar. Like 1 point favorites for the Cards is very, very weird. Even the bookmakers are showing us they don't know how to deal with this game. Rams are pretty banged up. The O-line, losing Puka is very big, but Cooper Kupp, Stafford, come on. Also on the other side, the Cardinals did blow the game against the Bills. They were leading. I don't know what to do with Kyler Murray, because sometimes he's very good, sometimes he's very, very bad. I don't trust him that much. I mean, the Rams are 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games. Cardinals are 6-3 against the spread in the last 9 games. I don't know, the line is peculiar. These stats are peculiar. You don't know what you get with Kyler Murray. I would stay away from this game. There you go. Those are the bets that you should stay away from. Those are my best bets. I hope that you're going to have a good luck betting. I hope that you're going to have a good weekend of football. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content, and make sure to hit me up in the comments to tell me how stupid my picks are again. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Thank you for watching.